Hello again for the first time. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel, Crystal Messages Tarot. I'm Paulina. I am a psychic and intuitive person. I say it that way because sometimes I feel like we label people like, she's a psychic, but I feel that everyone has psychic abilities. So I say psychic more as an adjective here. I'm a psychic and intuitive person. I channel messages from my guides. Some tarot readers like to say the word spirit. Sometimes I might say that, but I like to tune into another aspect of myself when I'm doing readings, so it's not really my personality or who I am in life, because I'm sort of reaching a higher self or a higher knowledge, that often in my readings there's coincidences or intuitive things I say that I'm not guiding it, it's like someone else is guiding the ship. So I just wanted to explain my process a little bit. I do private readings, so if you're following along and enjoying the messages and information, please feel free to look at my links below this message or any of my videos. If you're watching by law of attraction, you're meant to hear this message. It may not resonate with you now, it may be later, for a later time or in the past, but give it a listen and see if you can tune into not just the words but the energy, because that in itself may be a message for you that could be healing. Okay, thank you. Okay, this is going to be a quick sign by sign reading, which I haven't done before, but I'm excited to try to do, because I just sort of downloaded that's what I should be doing right now. And each sign is gonna be a little snippet of each of each sign, and a few little advice cards just for the rest of August and into early September for love, career, general well-being and health. Okay, and I may not do it like love one card, one love, one card career, but those are the things that I'm gonna focus on. My phone's gonna die, so I'm being told that this is gonna be a super quick reading. Okay, let's do Aries for the rest of August and early September. What does Aries need to know right now? What does Aries need to know right now? What does Aries need to know right now? You need to come out of a crossroads or a perceived stalemate. This may have to do with marriage or some sort of commitment romantically in your life, or it could be a celebratory relationship, communication, the lovers, wow, and coming out of a feeling of like burden. So there may be a deep-seated feeling, a deep-rooted feeling of burden that has to do with your romantic relationship and with the communication in the relationship. And because of this perhaps befuddled communication, I don't know, I never say that word, so that's funny. Perhaps because of this communicatory aspect that's not really going that well, it's related to a deep burden from your childhood or from the past that's not really about the relationship. Some emotional baggage having to do with believing that you are stuck. Even when you're in love, you may feel you may feel that you cannot communicate with people that you love. Just got one more card for that Aries message, and we're going to move on because I'm already getting way too involved in this one sign. Okay, and again, I want to say, temper. You can watch any of the signs if you have Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. I'd even say if you want to watch for your Mercury, or if you're like a weird person, if you're like one of those really, like your Juno sign, your Chiron, your solar eclipse, any of those things. I see those ones that I just mentioned as being kind of more generalized. So if you want to do any of these sign messages for those, you don't have to just be a sun sign. Okay, so disappointment having to do with work, I see that for you, Aries. And I see that something about public recognition. You're wanting to be recognized, and it somehow has to do with communications in your love relationships. All right, that's all I have for you right now. Okay, Taurus, let's do Taurus. What does Taurus need to know? I'm picking up on you just want to eat right now, Taurus. You want to hoard right now. You have a feeling something is changing. Taurus is a fixed sign, so they want to keep things the same, change things to being the same. They want things to be status quo, and sometimes Taurus has a capacity to hoard physically on their body or with their physical things. I'm really picking up on that right now for you. Maybe because we're going to the new season, there is a lot of change that comes with that vibrationally and energetically. You may be feeling off kilter from that. Okay. We have 3 wands reversed, so you may feel that you have not received something that you thought was coming to you. And you may have exerted passionate energy towards this thing. This thing has to do with control. The Emperor, I see, is actually an Aries. I haven't really been doing astrology with the cards themselves, but this is an Aries sign. I see the wands also as being any fire sign. 3 could be, sorry, I'm getting too caught up on the numerology. I could go down a whole rabbit hole, so let's not go there right now. Maybe a little bit. So control in waiting for the things you want. That's what we were just talking about. You're feeling, this was reversed. You're feeling that impatience that things you want are coming to you, but don't worry. You're a little Taurus. You're gonna get what you want. You can get all your riches. Taurus is a sign that feels that they can only be of value to others by their financial status or gain, which actually for a sign like me, I have a lot to learn. I'm the polar opposite of Taurus, which is Scorpio, and apparently the signs we're supposed to teach each other about materiality versus spirituality. So I greatly appreciate Taurus's lessons on being more material in the world, because often I find myself not in reality. Okay, let's do one more for Taurus. Something about what you're waiting for financially that you're feeling isn't coming and you're control freaking obsessing about has to do with a closure of an old situation. And have you ever seen that movie, The Seventh Seal? It's an excellent Bergman film. I always think of that because the Judgment, this shows one of the seals of the universe. I think that's what it's called. These are things from the Bible, like the 7 seals. It's like Judgment Day. Number 7 here feels important to me. Some people say 7 is their lucky number. I see it as a number that has to do with seeking perfection. I don't know why that's coming to me, but I see this group of cards as having to do, Taurus, with letting go of control, that your riches are coming to you, and we have to let go of some way of thinking or some outmoded situation. It's a death. All right, that's all I have for Taurus. What are we gonna do next? Let's do Gemini. Gemini. Knight of Pentacles. You're moving towards some financial goal, Gemini. Slow and steady wins the race. It's kind of a Capricorn energy. Maybe you have some Capricorn in your chart for picking up on this message today. Gemini. Ooh. Okay, we got King of Cups. We already got that. Or wait, I think I got this already today. Maybe not with this reading. I always read this card as a male figure, or it could be a male aspect of yourself. We all have the feminine, masculine within us, the yin and yang, the chi, what's the other? Anyway, I can't think of the word. I think chi is actually just one thing. Anyway, I'm getting caught up in semantics. Okay. Yeah, you may have had some conflicts, Gemini, with some passionate situation. Maybe you were going into a situation with a great passion and energy, and then you started getting into sort of fights with people, maybe at work. I just say that because we had the Knight of Pentacles, which could be work-related signs, worldly goods, coming out of feeling like you're poo-pooing the world. You know, this card upright is like someone being like, I don't really want that cup. There's a cup being offered, forget it. Coming out of that time. So something about you're moving towards a financial goal, but then you kind of jump in. I'm seeing a pattern with you within life that you're jumping into things in a quick and passionate way, very Gemini, very excited, maybe giggling. Then you're kind of getting into fights with people because, you know, Gemini has two sides. There's a duplicitous nature, or it's a sign that reflects the duplicitous, or not the duplicitous. I feel like that sounds negative or pejorative. I mean, there's a polarity to all of our personalities, and it's exacerbated in this sign, which often is taking on the lighthearted aspect of life, and they feel that they have the right to be lighthearted. So I would say, Gemini, we want to balance these two aspects of ourselves. That can be, you can be lighthearted and passionate, then you can be kind of I feel like some Geminis I'm picking up on, you can like martyr yourself because you're like, oh, like I'm just so sweet, but then you get situations where you're like, F you, like don't treat me that way. And that something about that dynamic has to do with coming out of believing that the world isn't offering its cup of goodness to you. I don't know if that makes sense. It feels so disjointed, but that's all I have for Gemini. Let's do Cancer. Gonna speed it up, I think, a little bit. Cancer. Ooh. All right, I'm just gonna take these four. Rest. Something you're resting. You're resting emotionally. It has to do with your feeling of abundance. Has to do with rest right now, Cancer, and your inner wisdom. Cancer's a very intuitive sign, one of the psychic signs. I believe all water signs are slightly heightened in their psychic abilities, but Cancer is a very emotionally intuitive sign. And there's some sort of feeling of defensiveness that's going on. Cancer often goes into their shell when they feel hurt, and they're known for doing that, for like withdrawing emotionally. Well, that's really more Scorpio, but Cancer can actually just like box themselves in their shell and be like, don't bother me, once they've been hurt emotionally. So something about your abundance right now has to do with listening to your inner intuition, taking the rest you need, and letting go of a deeply rooted sense of defensiveness. I think it's exhausting you, being defensive, because that takes a lot of energy. It takes, you know, they always say like it takes less energy to smile than frown on the human face. I don't know if that's actually true. I mean, we have so many muscles in our face. I don't think that you can actually calculate that, but what am I trying to say? That's all I'm getting for you. Let's do Leo. By the way, I have this piece of quartz here. If you're an energetic person, you might be picking up on that. It's just going to sort of clear any energy that's coming through, because it's coming in kind of fast. You may have noticed. So anything that I'm tripping up on, or that I'm not vibrationally up to speed with, is going to just funnel right into this little baby. And hopefully you can feel that good energy as you're watching this. So we're going to do Leo. We're almost, not really almost done, but I feel like we're done with the babies. You know, the signs are karmic. It's a karmic cycle, and apparently we're supposed to all go through all signs in all of our lifetimes. And I really believe that, and often the sign that comes before us, we have learned something from that sign that we can now teach. Say you have a friend who is the sign before you. You have something to teach them, and they have something to learn from you. Leo, I got Queen of Cups. Something about your emotional worth, I don't know why that came through. Your feeling of worth in your emotional situation, maybe in your love life, is is important this month. I don't know why. Let's see. You may be the caretaker emotionally in your household or your immediate environment. You may find yourself as a person who people are coming to in a therapeutic energy from you. You may have set out on a quest that didn't exactly work out, having to do with a relationship, and there may be closure that is happening. Now, I've already gotten this card before. I'm just reshuffling fresh for each sign because I don't want to only let one card get the Lover's card or something like that, because these are great cards for everyone. So just to reiterate, for Leo this month, something about your emotional nature with others. You're feeling like you're giving too much of yourself. It's like you're going on an emotional quest or journey, and you're not being met halfway. I can read this card as two, as half. You know, in relationships, half and half. We need to have reciprocity, equal give and take. And there's a closure coming. Could be literally the relationship or the way the relationship was, or some aspect of yourself that you're letting die. And I'm seeing that you're feeling, this is like affecting your sense of physical wealth in the world. And you need to stop. There's some obsession with someone else's information that is driving you crazy right now. I don't know how that's related to the emotional piece of how you're giving your power away emotionally to others. There's some great videos on YouTube about empaths. I believe Leos can be empathic because they're a lot of fire signs. They can be channeling signs because the energy is coming through so fast and so quick, and it's a little bit more tempered with the other signs. Why do I mention that? Because you can often give of yourself more than you have bargained, and I feel like you're not feeling the inner wealth that Leos need to feel. This is a sign that has to do with inferiority, which is so ironic because people are always like, Leos are the center of attention, but that's because they feel not lesser than, but they feel they have an interior world. They're artists. I see it as maybe one of the most artistic of the fire, the most artistic fire sign. It's a child and they want to play. So the inner artist maybe needs to be honored for Leos this month. Moving on, let's do Virgo. Ooh, okay. We got King of Wands, Page of Cups, and this was reversed, Seven of Cups. You're seeing there's some sort of fantasy. There was a fantasy having to do with not maybe a love offering or an emotional it could just be a friendship, like an emotional relationship that was being offered to you. You're seeing through a fantasy. It could have been greatly sex driven. I always see the King of Wands as like someone who's like hot and heavy. What else for Virgo this month? Don't let your shyness rule your life, Virgo, because you're amazing at reading the room. You're amazing at, because you're so meticulous in your life and your orderliness and your way of criticizing, I don't want to say that as a negative, you have a critical eye. So don't let that make you shy. You want to be taking control mentally and emotionally. I don't know if that makes sense. Mentally and emotionally taking a charge, and yeah, that's all I'm getting for Virgo right now. Oh, my dog is getting antsy, so we gotta speed up. Let's do Libra. Hi, Libra. Hi, Libra. I'm getting a super girly energy. Okay. Libra, Libra, Libra. Ready? Come here. Ooh. All right. Some of you may be pregnant. Oops. Ooh, wow. Okay. All right, 1 second. Just want to I feel like there's a couple more cards that I'm not getting for Libra. Libra right now because by virtue of law of attraction, I'm getting a lot of the same cards because it's the same reading. So people who are watching are going to have a lot of the same issues as a collective. If we're all sharing energetic space in some way, even if it's over different dimensions of time, which cool videos let us do that. Okay. All right, I get it. We just got the same cards. But I'm going to show you how this is going to be meaningful for Libra. Alright, just go 2x2s. 2x2s. Libra is a sign of relationships and how we relate to others. Your heart, a romantic relationship going on, as often is for Libra. It's a sign of beauty, harmony in the sign of relationships. You're feeling impatient about some financial situation that maybe you need to take a stand within the relationship financially. I'm just being called to do 2x2s, and in keeping with the Libras, the scales. It's like Gemini. I feel like there's a lot of duality in Libra as well. You need to let go of feeling like stuck over some old family pattern that's left you feeling like you're not worthy. Sorry, it's coming a little bit like strung together, but maybe Libras are feeling a little strung together this month. That could be what I'm picking up on. That you're feeling a little bit like off kilter. Remembering this, the archetype for Libra is a scales, not just justice in the world and finding peace and harmony around you, but within yourself. So in all of these cards that we've been reading for all of the signs, there's a theme of self-care. So I want you to listen to your intuition, Libra. For Libra, I feel that intuition comes very mentally. It's a mental sign. It's a social sign. It's a communicative sign because it's an air sign. We need to listen to the inner wealth. I don't know if that makes sense. That's all I'm getting for Libra. Let's do Scorpios. I'm a Scorpio, so I read my own reading. What does Scorpio need to know? And then we're almost done, folks. Scorpio. Ooh. All right, okay. All right, Scorpio, you're feeling like you're in poverty. Something about religion or an institution is going to save your butt. It could be a school affiliation. Maybe you're looking for a job at a school. You may be feeling emotionally like detached right now from your wishes and hopes coming true, which would be fulfillment of that. Temperance. We just had Libra, so this is a great. Some people read this as Sag. I see Sag symbolically as like a little untempered horse. Then I also see Temperance as you can see they're balancing the water in this image. There's like two sides. So we just had Libra. So Scorpio, something about you're not believing that your wishes can come true because you're following the status quo's idea of what will make those things come true, and you are not a traditional person, Scorpio. And I'm not talking about just myself here. We're not traditional folk, if you will. Let's do one more for Scorpio. Ooh. Give and take. I always see this card as charity. You could read more negatively in reverse if it's an imbalanced give and take, but something about giving to others financially or people giving to you financially. Something about what you can give will bring you the riches that you're looking for. Okay, that's all I'm getting for Scorpio. I feel that it's better to have things that get a little bit unclear because if I go ahead and try to devise an explanation for all the things that I'm getting, it kind of takes the magic out of it because I'm getting things that I am not. Even I am like, what is this about? Okay. And to put my label on it, could be could limit someone's interpretation. Say you're watching this just the right time, and I say something that really hits a spot, but I don't know in the moment why it's hitting the spot for you. Anyway, let's do Saggy. Sag. Ooh. Sag, thinking about your work this month, career. Okay, obsessive control, having to do with your job or with working with others. Maybe you're having trouble working with others, Sag. Often I suggest that Sagittarians work on their own. Sag, I believe, is a mutable sign. So you can work with others, but you can be a control freak because you believe that you are the channel to higher wisdom. And in traditionally the archetype, you're the philosophical sign about higher education, higher wisdom, and other signs talk about those things in a different way. For example, Scorpio talks about the mystical life and death aspect of these things. And then Aquarius, I believe, is also a very spiritual sign, thinking about, anyways, what am I trying to say? Something about how you're working with others is like impeding you from getting what you want financially. Just get one more card for Sag, and then we're gonna move on. No, I don't like those cards for Sag. Card for Sag, card for Sag, card for Sag. Oopsie. Okay, I mean, if you're able to communicate, Saggy, in a happy way, you're gonna get what you want, money-wise. So, that's really all I'm getting. It's a simple message, but you can do it. Capricorn. Cappy, cap. What are we getting for Cappy? Happy Cappy. I don't know why I'm getting that. I don't know why I'm saying happy Cappy. You happy this month, Capricorn? All right, Cappy, what are we getting? Oh, okay. We got a bunch of cards. I'm just gonna pick a couple. Okay. You're feeling like you can't move forward. Something is keeping you stuck. Has to do with being a bitch. Something about how you're speaking to others is like rubbing people the wrong way. I know you're trying to be in your power and like be mentally assertive and aggressive, but like just tone it down. What about toning it down do I need to know? For Cappy. Ooh. I'm getting just the same, that's why I haven't chosen. There's a lot of cards about work and making money. Basically, you have to find a way to soften how you're talking to people, Cap. But I know you mean well. Like, it's not like you're like a bitch. You're just like, you are the manager sign, and you are the climber, and the one probably who has the most intense goals at your place of work. You have to move on from a place or maybe a relationship or way of thinking about your life. This is a common theme for all of these readings today, but for you, Cappy, I'm feeling like moving on from the feeling that you need to be like Miss Boss Bitch. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, we don't always need to be on the defense. As women in the world, where I feel like I got it as a feminine card, but it could be a male. But for women specifically in the world, we often feel like to get what we want, we have to be a bitch. But we don't have to. We can be kind and set an example for others. Okay, that's all I'm getting. How about Aquarius? And then you're stuck in between two worlds, Aquarius. You feel like you cannot move forward on this quest of passion. going to be taken out of your life is going to bring something, it's going to bring an empty space at first, but then you're going to love that empty space. And then you're going to find that the relationship or the situation was about codependency, because we find love within ourselves, and that's how we give others love. So in knowing that empty space, we can know that maybe this relates to like idol worship, like in any religion. I mean, well, specifically in Christianity, it's like, no, you're not supposed to idolize stuff. And I'm just talking about the concept, not that I agree with it, but just the idea that love isn't idolization. It's accepting that you are one on your own and I'm one on myself. So there is no empty space ever, because there was nothing being put there. That's what I'm getting. Okay, moving on. We got Pisces, and then we're gonna call it a day, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to check out my Instagram, I am gonna have some cool stuff there soon. Or if you want to get a reading, you can email me. My info is below. You're getting some bucks, my friend. Pisces, some money or financial opportunity. Ooh. And, oh, okay. Don't be hasty, Pisces. Don't be hasty, because something about innocence and keeping that childhood innocence that we all love about Pisces, it's the sign that is said to have rose-colored glasses, that can also get you in trouble, because you can often play dumb, but then really feel victimized at how you've been treated, but you've put yourself there on purpose in order to get a perceived idea of what you want. I don't know if this is making sense to you. Don't be hasty. Something about your innocence is going to get this financial opportunity, and then something about like getting into some fight with someone, like that had to do with, sorry, I know there's a different card that is meant to be here. It's like, I don't know what it is, but when I see it, I will know. The Devil. Well, no, Pisces is a sign of addictions and codependency with alcohol or something like that. I'm not really picking up on that. I'm picking up more on what I was talking about before, like having that martyr complex is like keeping you from getting what you want in life. Because, and psychologically, you can go back to your childhood. You can watch tons of self-help videos about why you might subconsciously be putting yourself in the victim mode. It has to do with why you're karmically born into the sign of Pisces. You chose to learn this lesson before life, but if you think about it, many people say that Jesus was a Pisces vibrationally, and some people think that his actual birth was not in December, but besides the point, his archetype of being nailed to the cross is like the ultimate martyr. And I feel that subconsciously Pisces is like picking up on this, because they're such a sweet sign, and they're such a supposed to be the most evolved sign. They're the fish. They're flowing with life. They're psychically picking up on things. They can be a psychic sponge, but this can you can have the tendency to put yourself in. I want you to notice the two sides of the Devil. There's two sides, and this is the same as the Lover's card. It's the same card, but this is like the negative version of it. We can be in bondage to the things that we think save us. I don't know if that makes sense, but true freedom comes from getting rid of all bondage. So I don't know how that is meant for you to be heard, but thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And the final card for the collective for this whole reading for everyone: inner abundance and self-created peace and love and physical wealth in a physical world. Thank you.